going to demonstrate a concept I call edgework. This one in particular is going to be movements of the lower quarter. I use this most commonly for people with low back pain. The movement is just a simple side-to-side movement of the knees, like this. And what we're trying to do is find that edge, the edge where protective responses increase. Okay, that kind of demarcation between freedom of movement and protected movement. There are some things that will help us know when we're at the edge. One is a change in breathing pattern. A lot of times when people find that edge, they'll hold their breath, or their breathing will go from being nice diaphragmatic breath to shallow chest breathing. Another thing is a feeling of increased stiffness, a general increase in tension feeling, loss of freedom. And the third, which is the least consistent, is pain. Pain is actually a fairly misleading guide because it may or may not be associated with that edge. The biggest way I like to help people figure out whether or not that actually is the edge is if there is a feeling of uncertainty going beyond that point. For many people, pain happens when there's still plenty of certainty. They know they're fine. But going beyond that point, when you start to get those other sensations, then you're most likely at the edge. But for pain, generally we want to find whether or not it's associated with a feeling of uncertainty or not. So once we know how to find that edge, the first concept that we can use here is nudging the edge. So we'll just go back and forth, finding that edge on each side, and as soon as we are up against the edge, as soon as we're up against the edge, then we turn around and move the other way. Nice and slow, not pushing, not stretching, just nudging the edge. And hopefully what we'll see is each time as we go back and forth, that our freedom of movement, that the person's freedom of movement is expanding little by little. Okay, if that's happening, then you're having some success. Sometimes that won't be the case though. You won't have success. Either the edge is not moving or it might even be retreating. When that's the case, the second concept I use is stacking the deck. Now, when you get up to the edge, when you're going to use this concept, you find that edge, you're going to look through your knee, try to find a spot on the wall that helps you figure out how far you've taken your knees, because you're going to want to remember. Then you come back to the middle. This we're going to work one side only. You're going to find that edge again, and once you get there, you're going to take 3 diaphragmatic breaths. Now, diaphragmatic breath is when the stomach goes up and down instead of the chest, and the easiest way that I've found to be able to check this is to put one hand over the stomach, one hand over the chest. As you breathe, you're trying to make the stomach go up and down like this, instead of the chest, like this. Chest breathing is generally associated with the fight or flight response. And what we're trying to do is find the edge, that very beginning of protection, and then insert a movement that our body already has an opinion of as being non-threatening. Diaphragmatic breathing in general is opposed to fight or flight, so less likely to be a threatening movement. We're trying to couple the beginning of the threat zone with a non-threat. So hopefully then you'll come back, you go back, find the edge again, and hopefully at this point your edge will have moved further out. And when that happens, you find the edge again, 3 diaphragmatic breaths, come back, and you just repeat that process until the edge stops expanding. Okay? And that's really all there is to it. So finding the edge, knowing what defines the edge for the person, working at that spot and using diaphragmatic breathing as a non-threatening associated cue to stack the deck in your favor. That's edgework.